What's up, everybody? This is the Canes Insight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine. Mario Cristobal made some very interesting comments after practice today about the quarterback battle. Not the QB1 battle, but the QB2 battle. We'll talk about all of that. We'll break down the various quarterbacks based on things we've heard, things we've seen, plus some very big recruiting visitors that we're going to get to this weekend. Big-time impact players, difference-making players will be in Coral Gables this weekend. We'll talk about it. But before we talk about the quarterbacks, let's talk about the quarterbacks of your legal case, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Just like a good quarterback manages the game, Anajar and Levine will manage your process from the investigation, from the medicals, to the litigation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life. All right, practice today. Close to the media, close to the public. But afterwards, Mario Cristobal did meet with the media and took certain questions. And his response to a question about the quarterback room I thought was very interesting. Not for what it meant in terms of Cam Ward. We know what Cam Ward is. But what it meant as far as some of the other quarterbacks in that room. So, Pete, go ahead and play that clip of Mario Cristobal meeting with reporters after practice today.
Well, I think both Emery and Reese have really done a good job of staying on those heels of Cam. Cam is obviously taking the ones reps, and he deserves it. He's earned that. And then both Emery and Reese have are kind of right after that. And then you see a lot of really good things from Jakari and Judd Anderson in the limited reps he gets. You see a guy that's going to also be a really good player down the line. So it's a crowded room, but a good room and a talented one, and we haven't had that yet. So the most important thing is that they approach every day with a good attitude, and then they're ready to compete and see how it all shakes out at the end of spring ball.
So what Mario said really matches a lot of what we have seen and heard here at Canes Insight, which is that the backup quarterback position, the big battle right now, and they're all involved, but really, if you ask me who the leaders are, it's going to be Reese Poffenbarger and Emory Williams. You saw those were the two names that Mario mentioned going back and forth and being on Ward's heels. I've said in the past, and I believe to be the case, that Reese Poffenbarger entered in pole position. Emory coming off an injury, working practice, but gearing up. I think Emory's making a nice push right now, getting a long way from Gainesville. Long way for this battle to go. But I think Emory's starting to push and show what he can do and heal up a little bit and get better in better condition and just get more up to speed after his injury to his wrist, his non-throwing wrist. But that's going back and forth. And I'll talk about Emory Williams first and what he brings to the table and the advantages that he has in this battle. So for one thing, Emory, you saw last year, started against Clemson, started against FSU, played against our defense all year. So in terms of highly recruited ACC rosters, he's seen the top of that, right? He's seen the number one recruiting team, which would be Miami lately, Clemson before that, and of course the number one team last year, which was FSU. So he has experience against the best, even though he's just entering his second year. He's seen the best. Size-wise, really where Emory, I think, shines. 6'4", big lower body, heavy but not too heavy, and somebody who just really brings top-end size to the position. And then the character with Emory Williams. You talk to anybody in that building. I've interacted with him slightly. You've seen him on the interviews. The guy is just an A-plus character, dude. Just outstanding intangibles, likable, smart, hardworking, humble, but confident and tough. You saw him in the FSU game when he ran and got injured to get that first down. So from an intangible standpoint, A-plus across the board, on the field, off the field, from everything we know. Accuracy is good as well. Very well coached, good footwork, very polished type of player. When you compare him to Reese Poffenbarger, who, again, I thought entered in the pole position for the backup quarterback, Reese is not as big. He's about 6 foot, if that, coming from the University of Albany, maybe 6'1", I've heard people say, but it doesn't look that. Coming from the University of Albany, where he was an FCS All-American. So he hasn't played the competition Emory has played. However, he started a lot more games. You could say FCS football, that's still college football. And he's been a star. He hasn't just been a guy that was expected to manage the game. Emory came as a true freshman. The game plan was for him to really not lose the game because he was so young. Reese, at his level, was carrying his team farther than that team usually goes in the FCS and winning games almost on his own. So much different role. Physically, I would say if you're comparing arm strength, slight edge to Poffenbarger. Emery's arm is not bad at all. I think Poffenbarger just has a little more twitch in his arm. He could just kind of, he could just flick it and get more velocity, whereas Emery really needs to be in position. Poffenbarger can be a little bit out of position and still generate velocity with his arm. And that also speaks to the athleticism, where I would put a significant advantage to Poffenbarger. Much more athletic player, ability to create, not just run for yards, but to create and throw off platform. I give Poffenbarger a significant edge there. You've seen it in his highlights. You've seen some of that here at Miami, where he gets out of the pocket and just chucking the ball downfield into one-on-one coverage, making spectacular plays. He tries plays like that here as well. And arm strength has translated. Accuracy-wise, I would give Emery the edge with set feet, significant edge. Poffenbarger is okay with his accuracy from what I've seen, but Emery is very accurate when his feet are set. When their feet are not set, I give Emery the edge. I give Poffenbarger the edge because he's just more athletic. So he can he's less thrown off when he is off his platform. Intangible-wise, different, both really hardworking guys. I think Emery, he's been here longer, so he knows everybody, all that kind of stuff. Poffenbarger is new to the situation. Both guys very intense, hardworking, competitive guys. Poffenbarger probably plays with more of an edge. What does that mean? Some quarterbacks don't play that fiery style and win a lot of games, but Poffenbarger is more that kind of guy from what I've seen. So very interesting battle. And I would have said Poffenbarger was in pole position for most of spring. I probably still would give Poffenbarger the edge because of the athleticism, but Emery's starting to get healthy and make his run. And there's a lot of people in the building that absolutely love Emery Williams, both because of the person he is and what he showed on the field last year in a very tough situation. So that's one to watch. I think it's spring, the spring game, which you guys will all be attending. A lot of you guys will be attending or watching on ESPN, ACC Network X. That's going to be one of the real battles to watch is who does better under those lights. Poffenbarger, Emery Williams, they both will play. Some other name mentioned during those comments was Ja'Carri Brown, and Ja'Carri Brown was mentioned after those two. So that tells me, again, this matches what we've seen and heard, that he's a little behind those two in terms of the quarterback battle right now. Obviously, the running ability of Ja'Carri Brown is exceptional. The arm strength, the size, great toughness, smart, good kid that everybody likes. I still believe Ja'Carri Brown can be a Division I quarterback. I think the system for Ja'Carri Brown will need to be developed more around his running personally, and that will allow him to really use his traits. But we've seen him win games and give Miami a chance to win games already, so he can do that here too. But I think right now, if you're evaluating this battle, I would say Emery and Reese ahead of Ja'Carri right now. Judd is in a very unusual. Judd Anderson, this is the quarterback signee out of Georgia that Miami signed last year. Under-recruited guy. I think he had Division I offers. He had Georgia Tech after him, but he was a 3-star guy, late blooming kind of kid. Played in a wing T type of offense. Then last 2 years, bounced around schools a little bit. Was more of a basketball player at first. Double-double guy, great rebounder. Shifting to quarterback, really came on strong towards the end of his senior year. And with Judd, it's unusual to have a quarterback room in Miami where you have 5 scholarship players. I can't think of the last time that's happened that I can remember. So with 5 scholarship players, the reps are not going to be as evenly distributed as they otherwise would. The 5th guy is not getting the reps that a scholarship player usually gets at Miami. So Judd's had limited opportunities. But when he's played, he showed a lot of ability, as Cristobal alluded to. This is someone who's 6'7", physically just completely looks the part. The weight's starting to come on, throws the ball well, throws the ball smooth and easy. We talked about his throwing on the pass in the podcast. And I think what people are forgetting about Judd, he's more athletic than you think. He can run, and he's shown at this level, again, not full contact, but just seeing him move around. He can move at this level. He can escape trouble at this level. Is he going to escape trouble like someone who's 6'1" and super athletic? Probably not. He's 6'7". There are limitations, but he is athletic at 6'7", and he can make things happen. So Judd has shown a lot of intriguing tools, still so early in his development. We haven't seen him enough, number one. Number two, we haven't seen him in full contact where they're trying to hit him and tackle him. Won't see that until he plays in a game. So very, very, very early in the Judd Anderson evaluation process. But from a physical tool standpoint, you like what you see, and you hear great things about his character. I mentioned the spring game. where you're going to see all these guys in person, have your own evaluations. After the spring game, we will be hosting an event at Titanic, right next to where the spring game is on campus. You all know Titanic, one of the great places to have a drink, have a bite after University of Miami athletics. We will be hosting, along with Canes Connection, a private event for Canes Connection members. We're going to have athletes there. We're going to have food. We're going to have camaraderie. I'll be there doing a live podcast with Peter, and we'll be having a ton of fun. It's going to be an awesome event. Sign up for Canes Connection if you haven't signed up yet. Use promo code CIS, get 20% off. You'll get access to not only that awesome private event, other events in the future, the normal Canes Connection deliverables, and you get access to a private Zoom chat, which will be done regularly. I think we're going to do our first one probably next week, Thursday or Friday. You'll get an email if you're a member with details also posted on the site and social media. But you get access to all that, plus this private event, the fifth quarter at Titanic after the spring game. Meet Canes Connection athletes, meet me, meet Peter, listen to the podcast, ask us questions on the podcast, and just have a lot of fun. And most important, know that you're contributing to Miami Hurricanes NIL, the official NIL of Miami Hurricanes athletics, the most direct way to impact the results that you see on the field and make sure that roster you see in spring is better in the fall. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Some folks that are really making a lot of plays that are all Canes Connection athletes and all have a lot of talent. The wide receiver room. Cristobal had comments on that room after practice. We'll play that right now.
Yeah, Ray really stands out as a second-year guy. Ray has added 15, 18 pounds of muscle, and just everything, when we say second-year guy, really the end of his first full year, you see the natural progression of a guy that's worked really hard and has talent and that wants to win and wants to be a great player. Awesome human being, awesome competitor, works at it, works hard in practice, competes, always a great attitude. Love him. Has a super future. Robbie has been nicked up, so he's been on and off. When he's been in there, he has shown that he can help this team win and can be a really good football player. Nikar, he's taken so many reps. His GPS numbers are through the roof, and he's a naturally explosive guy. And he's made a lot of plays, contested catches, sometimes just run by guys, and sometimes just found just some soft spots in zone coverage and has evolved. I think in high school you saw a guy that was just faster than everybody else, and he has taken that next step as a player to learn and understand how to beat certain coverages, and couldn't be more excited about those three guys right there. They're awesome.
So one thing you've seen is that Miami has significantly improved the speed and athleticism and playmaking ability at the wide receiver position. That's been a problem. Having guys that can get a short pass and make it a long play, who can take an end around and make it a long play, who can return a punt to the house. These are things that Miami is known for, and we haven't seen. Some of the guys you heard Cristobal talk about, Ray Joseph, definitely a dynamic player. He's improved his strength. He already had that running back sort of balance and body control. Could he be a prolific returner for us? Could he do some of the things that Brashard Smith did for us? Is he going to help us in the slot to take some pressure off Restrepo? I think all of the above. Main thing with Ray, very smart player. We're going to do an interview with him that you'll hear tomorrow on the CanesInSight Daily podcast. Outstanding kid. Canes fans will love him because he's a Canes fan. And he's also a very dynamic player. You can go back and watch his high school highlights if you want to see what he can do with the ball in his hands. I expect a lot from Ray Joseph just because of his quickness and the ability to do something with the ball in his hands. Robbie Washington, who you heard about in that quote, another second-year player, came in with Ray last year. He's got a lot of speed. Played some cornerback earlier in camp. We talked about that. That was a major point of discussion. I don't know if he doesn't want to play corner. I have no idea what he wants to play, full disclosure. But he definitely is showing a lot of plays at receiver since then, which tells me he might want to stick around because he's been from what we've seen. He's been making a lot of plays with the ball in his hands, going downfield, showing off his speed. So Robbie Washington is someone you heard Cristobal say he could help us this year. I think you see that with Robbie Washington. The speed and explosiveness is different. Ray, more of your quick guy. Robbie is quick also, but more explosive and fast in terms of long speed. Also took out Nikar. And I'm glad I'm not just seeing things because Cristobal said the same thing, which is with Nikar, it's not just the explosiveness, although it's there. He is running by guys, but he's also finding the soft spot in the zone. He's also making contested catches against guys that are bigger than him. So Nikar really is just doing a lot of different things, which is going to enable him to get on the field early. By the way, If you like this hat, my Canes baseball, caneswear.com. Got this hat, got the Canes #1 jerseys. If you like Francisco Mauigoa, I'm sorry, Cam Ward, you want to wear that #1, go to caneswear.com or Caneswear and Davie. Again, they got the best in the business hats like this, all kinds of Canes baseball hats, Canes basketball, Canes football, Heat, Marlins, Dolphins, Panthers, Inter Milan, you name it, they got it. Want to switch gears a little bit, though. We're talking about some big-time recruits, some big-time Canes Connection athletes that are already on campus. Let's talk about some players that are visiting campus this weekend and could potentially be permanent members if they sign with the Miami Hurricanes. Big-time recruits, particularly at the linebacker position. Now, Derek Nicholson has done a phenomenal job of improving Miami's talent in the linebacker room. We've talked about that on previous podcasts, how when you go out there and you see, Raul Aguirre, Wesley Basaint, Chase Smith, the development he's taken, a Diaz guy, but a guy who's developed. And then some of the new guys in the room, Darius Hayes, Bobby Pruitt. Nicholson's done a phenomenal job with that room. Mauigoa will only improve that when he arrives. But recruiting never stops, and Nicholson is doing an outstanding job in recruiting. Already landed Elijah Melendez, one of the most, imposing linebackers in terms of just the strength and the pop that he has. We broke him down in a prior podcast with Coach Zuck, but there's more coming. And Miami wants to land a home run linebacker class, and 2 names right at the top of Miami's board will be on campus this weekend, starting with Zayden Walker out of Georgia, 6'1.5", 225, top 10 player on the 247 rankings, top 20 player on the composite, runs track. This guy at 11.7 as a freshman, way faster now, 47 shot put, has that explosive strength. Played basketball. You watch his film. He's playing running back. He's playing linebacker. He's coming off the edge. He's running and chasing. He is just a beast athlete and a guy who's really only scratching the surface of what he can do as a player. He has made multiple visits to the University of Miami. Obviously, Georgia's the favor for him being in Georgia, but he's made a lot of visits to Miami. Miami feels very confident about the relationship with Walker, and he will be on campus this weekend to see what Miami's doing. Coach Nicholson doing a phenomenal job there. And as you can see from the film, this guy is a supreme athlete, probably more of an athlete than a linebacker right now, but all the tools, with whether it's explosive strength, size, and speed, fluidity, change of direction, everything you want, length to play that linebacker position. Another guy who's probably more of a pure linebacker, IMG's Gavin Nix, originally from the Orlando area, number 12 linebacker in the nation, 4-star according to 247, 6 foot, 225. His film's a little different than Walker. This guy's more of your true linebacker. Everything he's doing is off ball, read, react, run, hit, and doing a fantastic job. 42 tackles, 7 for loss, 5 quarterback hurries, a sack on a loaded IMG defense where everybody eats. Just watch the clips and you see someone doing what linebackers do. IMG prepares you for college anyways. He is going to be ready to play linebacker in college because that's what he's doing already. Different than Malik Bryant, who we talked about yesterday's episode, someone who maybe struggled a little bit with the transition from defensive end to linebacker, doing better now in his stand-up defensive end role. Nix, you can plug him right in at linebacker. He's going to know exactly what to do. Great ability to diagnose, great speed, solid tackler, know exactly what you're getting. FSU's in the mix. There's other schools in the mix there, but he is making a visit to Miami. He said his last visit to Miami was a game changer, really connected with Derek Nicholson. Now he's back with Zayden Walker. Miami would love to have a linebacker class with Zayden Walker and Gavin Nix, pairing with Elijah Melendez, who's already committed. Not just linebackers on campus this weekend. Miami is also hosting offensive lineman from Riverview, Zaire Addison. We talked to him about a month ago, and he was one of the most impressive kids that we interviewed. This guy's a wrestler, 7-2 record. Both of his parents are college basketball players. He played some college basketball, runs the 100 meters, runs the 200 meters, played every position on the line, capable of playing every position on the line. And he is just an outstanding athlete. And again, a very impressive kid. So just an overall impressive player, impressive kid. We had him on the podcast. Like I said, you can watch that on our YouTube channel. Just go ahead and look it up. But we'll play a clip for you right now of a portion of that interview that really gives you a glimpse into this kid's mindset and willingness to be great. So, Pete, go ahead and cue that video up.
For Miami. So what stands out with Miami is how much love they've been giving me ever since they started recruiting me. Those two schools, Dave was the school that was able to keep it real with me as well, telling me what I need to work on. I have a great relationship with Coach Cristobal. I talk to Mirabal like almost every day. I just have a really good relationship with all the coaches. and the staff. Like, I'll tell you a story. I was up there with California Power. Everybody was taking pictures. I was like, everybody, can we come watch the tape? I remember we were taking pictures. So I was watching tape with him. He was breaking down all the plays to me, how it's approached our offense, and how I'm able to fit in the offense. And it was a great deal getting back up.
So again, big weekend for Miami football. A lot of different athletes on campus, not just those three, but those are three primetime kids, plus a scrimmage on Saturday. We will keep you posted on all of it like we always do. CanesInsight.com. Like and subscribe to this video. Sign up for the CanesInsight.com forums. You'll get, like last week, you got a scrimmage report. You got all the recruiting updates in the bank. We'll keep giving that to you for free. Sign up today, and thanks for tuning in. Go Canes.